The Atlanta Fed put out a report specifically mentioning Ripple. I want to go ahead and take a look at all of the connections in between the Atlanta Fed or the Federal Reserve and Ripple, and of course XRP. This video is going to be solely just about that. So let's take a look at what was highlighted in this report. This report was put out in May 2023. The Atlanta Fed published a report titled An Introduction to Web3 and Implications for Financial Services. This document discussed how Web3 and blockchain technologies, particularly those provided by companies like Ripple and Stellar, are impacting the financial sector. The report highlighted Ripple's use of the native token XRP, describing it as roughly envisioned as an international payment medium or wholesale settlement coin. The context focused on how Ripple addresses cross-border value transfers and settlement, with attention given to its efficiency, low cost of transactions, and quick settlement times. The Atlanta Fed referenced Project Mariana, a proof of concept by the Bank of International Settlements and several European central banks, which aims to facilitate efficient cross-border settlements using DeFi protocols and digital assets, further bringing tokens like XRP in the conversation around wholesale payments. Remember, the central bankers have been very vocal about what they would like and what they see this new system as. A system where all of these federal central banks can be interconnected and move value seamlessly across borders instantaneously for practically nothing. Of course, Ripple Solutions, as well as some other players in this space, can do exactly just that. While Ripple and XRP were acknowledged for their technology and potential, the Atlanta Fed made it clear that it was not an endorsement or indication that the Federal Reserve itself planned to use XRP for settlement. So yeah, they're not going to come out and say, hey, we're going to use this, but obviously Ripple is trying to become a bank. And if they do have a Fed master account, will that give them anything up on any other technology in the market? I think that's what I'm looking out for, to see how that will reshape Ripple's business and as well as the XRP use case here in America. I'd love to better understand what you think is going to happen here. Do you think the Fed will use XRP for cross-border payments, or the central bank? Let me know down below. Here are some updates in 2025, because I know that's what you're here for. Interest in Ripple and XRP from the Atlanta Fed and other U.S. financial policy circles have continued. In July 2025, discussions in financial and crypto media have again referenced the Atlanta Fed stance, with renewed excitement about the possibility of XRP or similar assets being used at the Fed for global payments. No new formal report from the Atlanta Fed announces that will use Ripple or integrate XRP directly, rather references the May 2023 report, and subsequent commentary have helped fuel speculation and hope among the XRP community and investors. Of course we hope, right? Of course, this would be the holy grail. The Atlanta Fed now publicly recognizes XRP as an international payment medium or wholesale settlement coin in research and financial analysis circles, and Ripple's efforts to secure a Fed master account for closer integration with U.S. payment systems are ongoing through no official adoption or pilot program has been announced. The regulatory environment has shifted in the United States here following the SEC and Ripple case, with legal clarity growing around XRP. This has further encouraged speculation with broader institutional adoption, but as of now, the Federal Reserve has not formally partnered with Ripple or adopted XRP. So interesting to see, how all of this is unfolding. I'd love to better understand. Do you guys think the Fed is going to use XRP? I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say. Here are some connections that Crypto Hulk's made in the past. This is a great minute 30 video that has all of this stuff. So let's go ahead and play this.
Pay attention, not to Caroline Pham, to my article, dummy. The CFTC is going to host a CEO forum. The Commodities Future Trading Commission is going to have Ripple there with Coinbase. What are they going to do, Crypto Hulk? Ripple is going to help make crypto laws with the CTFC. They're going to help Congress and all that. Ripple is right in there helping them. You know what Ripple also is in there back in the day? Look what we got here. We got Ripple, the Clearinghouse, ACI Worldwide, American Express. These are all Ripple. These are all partners of Ripple. And what was this for? When the Federal Reserve, pay attention here, when the Federal Reserve had the faster payments back in 2015, they did a study. 2017, they reported Faster Payments Task Force, FedNow and all that stuff. Ripple is right there with all those partners. There was no other crypto company there with the Federal Reserve making faster payments. The Clearinghouse was in that group. ACI Worldwide was in that group I just showed you. American Express is a Ripple partner. All these are Ripple partners. Ripple partner Wells Fargo was there. When the Federal Reserve of the United States did a study 10 years ago about faster payments, Ripple was the only crypto there. Get it? Nobody else. Now the CFTC is studying to make stablecoins with commodities.
All right. I mean, we are getting to the point here where stablecoins are becoming a law of the land. Now, that regulation that was passed won't go into effect for 18 months unless Scott Bessent, who is the Treasurer of the United States, steps up and pushes that forward. Stablecoin regulation could go into effect as early as 120 days, but we are going to need Scott Bessent. I've reached out to Scott Bessent on X asking him what he's going to do. And of course, he's not going to respond to my tweets, but I thought I would try. I also have this great clip talking about Hidden Road and Ripple's adventure here to getting a national banking license. Let me play this clip and I'll give you some context.
Look, recently we've spoken about Hidden Road, the brokerage service coming in, and their use of the XRP ledger and the RLUSD token, the stable coin, as collateral. And that's just been confirmed by CEO Brad Garlinghouse recently. But then out of the blue, Ripple decides they want to go as a federal bank, getting a license to be a bank from the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, and then also possibly apply for a Fed master account. And I'm just like blown away. It is a massive, massive move. So if it comes off, it hasn't come off yet, but if it does come off, well, there's some serious value there. So
just know that there are forces at work right now trying to stop Ripple and Circle from actually getting a national banking charter. You have to understand that Ripple and Circle's technology disrupts basically everything that these banks have been using for the last 50 years. Some of these bigger institutions charge smaller to medium-sized institutions to use their banking rails to move value around the planet. That would be billions of dollars lost. So banks need to figure out a way to make up that difference. And of course, banks have to admit to you, the customer, that the technology that they're still using in 2025 is not up to date, is not sufficient, and it is still costing us an arm and a leg. I think Ripple will in fact get their banking license, but everything is going to be thrown in the way of Ripple from doing so. It'll be put on the OCC. Now, the OCC, obviously Trump has put those people in charge of the banking system here, getting national bank charters and that stuff, but they have made a big move into the crypto space. So if you're getting the first companies applying for a banking license, and if they were to get denied, what does that really say here, right? Nothing's changed since the last administration. I don't think they want to go down that road. So I do think this happens. I just think this is something that, earliest later this year, we could probably get an update about this, but maybe into next year, because there is going to be different public comment periods, as well as a bunch of other things Ripple is going to have to jump through. I have a lot of content on my channel about this already. If you're interested, just take a look back a few weeks and you will stumble right into it. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. I'm Crypto Sensei. Please like and follow if you find this information helpful. Bye. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.